Hello, everyone. I have a little bit of a melancholy memory that I want to share with you. I was out today and I was driving home and I took note of the date, November 17th, and I remembered that, this was the day that John Lennon's album and Yoko Ono's Double Fantasy was released way back in 1980, 45 years ago today. Double Fantasy was released. And what I wanted to do was share this little story with you. And I can't believe it's 45 years ago. 45 years ago, I was 18 years old, teenager, and a rabid John Lennon fan. I became a John Lennon fan just about the time he went into retirement. So I had to wait what seemed like long years back then. These days, a lot of artists go 5 years without an album. Even Paul McCartney currently, his last album was 5 years ago. So, but it seemed kind of a long wait back then at that age for John. But we didn't know, would John ever come out of retirement? Would he ever make an album again? And imagine everybody's delight when somewhere in the summer of 1980, it was announced John's back in the studio when he signed with Geffen Records. He's going to make music again. All of us were so happy. And my memory that I want to share with you is I had a friend who lived in Queens, New York. At the time, I also lived in Queens. But he was a train ride away, my friend. And on November 17th of 1980, my friend had gotten hold of the Double Fantasy album. And I hadn't heard it yet. This was in the days before internet, before albums got leaked online. There was no such thing as hearing it in advance. You had to go and hear it at a friend's house. And I was so excited that I took the train ride to go to his house. And it was only about 15-20 minute ride. It wasn't very far. But I remember I lived down the street from, I don't know, they call it like the L train. Well, they have the train up on a raised platform. And you go up the stairs and there's the train up there. And I went up there and I was standing there, my young self, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm going to go to my friend's house. I'm going to hear Double Fantasy for the first time. I've waited 5 years for this. He's back. John Lennon's back. And in my excitement, I realized that I had a black marker with me of some kind. And I pulled it out of my pocket. And in a little rebellious, excited moment, I turned and I looked at the street sign that was on the platform of the train. It was a black sign, and the letters to the stop, the numbers of the street were in white letters, and took the cap off, and excitedly I wrote on the white numbers, I wrote, John Lennon lives, exclamation point. I wrote, November 17th, 1980. Ooh, how rebellious of me, right? And then I took the train and I went to my friend's house and I listened to the record. Now, at the time, I remember thinking it was a little too soft for me because, John, we didn't expect John to be so adult contemporary at the time. Now I think it's such a fantastic album. But at 18, I expected something a little more. But I remember being blown away by, like, Watching the Wheels, for example, and I'm Losing You. But the point is, I can't believe it's 45 years already, and that's a memory that I have. And the irony that we couldn't have known on that day when I wrote John Lennon Lives, the sad irony is that he would not. He lives in our hearts and our memories, but a couple of weeks after I wrote that, 2-3 weeks after, John would be taken from us, murdered. And I always think, why didn't we hop on that train, the same train, and go right the opposite direction into New York City from Queens and try to say hi to John, try to see him? We just didn't do that then at that age, 18 years old. Really, we just didn't really do that. I don't know, 17, 18, you didn't think about it much. And who knew that we were on borrowed time with John? But anyway, that's just a little memory I wanted to share. It hit me hard today. I don't know. It just hit me 45 years ago. To give you an idea how old 1980 is in 2025, back in 1980 when this occurred, 45 years before then was 1935. Hard to believe there's the same amount of time, 1935, 1980, and then 1980, 2025. But John Lennon does live, no doubt about it.